Thank you, Mark. And that was boring. So, okay, so my name is Amna. I will not introduce myself. I've been working at IBM for about 4 years. And today I'll be talking about agentic AI in enterprise environments. And I promise it won't be boring. So, there has been a generational evolution when it comes to AI. So when you look at traditional machine learning models, they're probably the Gen X or the millennials of today's generations, right? They fought the war of human cynicism towards AI. Like they have been deployed in terms of models used in banking and so on. But fast forward a few years, you see that AI that creates came up, like which is generative AI models. So it became the new toy where you could just use the large language models to build or just generate text, right? That was cool. Then came the AI that chats. That's like where the likes of ChatGPT. It was just a breakthrough because now not only can you chat or with those models, but you can do like retrieval augmented generation, chat with those documents, and going through IBM documentation for me, that was great. And then came AI that works, which essentially is Gen Z on steroids, right? Like it not only understands what you're saying, but it can also does and perform actions for you. But this space is evolving so fast that sometimes I get confused what AI agents are. So I want to know in the audience what your perception is. So like I'll just pick on random people unless someone wants to volunteer. So anyone who can maybe like tell me how they perceive AI agents? No hands? Oh, yes, like that. So someone mentioned 007. Anyone else in the room? They solve problems. Perfect. One more? Oh, I have two more. That's great. Yeah. Did I share the slides with you before? No. And there was one more there. Perfect. Perfect. And here's the more boring description that AI agent is a system or a program that is capable of autonomously performing tasks on behalf of a user or another system, but whatever. Like my perception of AI agent is that kid in the neighborhood that growing up, all the other kids in the neighborhood hated that person. Because, like if you are doing something wrong, your mom would be like Hassan, be like Rania, like, because they were so efficient. They will just be proactive. If given a task, they would know how to resolve. Or that kid in front of the class, right? Like who would be one step ahead of what the teacher is teaching. They will just do all the homework, do everything autonomously because smart kids, right? So that is what AI agent is. It's like just the over smart kid of LLMs, right? Or relative. So at the enterprise level, like we've all dealt with the assistants or chatbots, which would always say, I do not understand what you're saying. Could you repeat, right? So like what we have seen like the past few years, it's like that chatbot experience has changed from where the chatbot can actually understand what you're saying and get documents, provide the information in form of a more, I guess, flexible assistant. But now we are moving on to more flexible, fully contextual agents, where not only can the chatbot or the assistant understand what you're saying, but it can also perform actions for you. For instance, like I'm an employee of IBM. I have a lot of HR questions. I just applied for leave. So it was just very easy for me because I just went to a chatbot, told it that I need to take vacation this day, and a leave application was automatically generated for me. I can do it, yes, but in terms of productivity, I could do it in 1 minute rather than spending like 5-10 minutes doing the same thing. So, which is great. Like now, everyone is coming up with agents. Like there are agents in Copilots, there's agents in SharePoints. Is anyone in the room using any kind of agent right now? Raise of hands. Oh, slowly coming up. Okay, yeah. So there's an agent for everything now. But at the enterprise level, what we are seeing is because of this sprawl, you don't know how these different agents can coordinate with each other, right? So you have one agent which, let's say, resides on SharePoint, one on Copilot. But how do you make these agents talk to each other? How do you build an application where you are actually interacting with these applications so you can orchestrate those workflows? And I'll give you examples later, like where it'll become more solid. So the challenge here is that you have these co-pilots, you have these custom agents, you have these fragmented companies and silos where you want to bring everything together. But as we all know, like in any team, like even your team, you don't get along with everyone in that particular team, right? So there's a need for you or the manager to orchestrate or manage the team of agents as well, because the task is to finish a job more efficiently. And of course, like Gen AI is complex and costly too because of where the solutions are running, how the LLMs, is token-based, and infrastructure itself is very expensive. So how do you make sure that whatever investment that you're making is the value you're getting out of it is most compared to how you would do it otherwise? So I joke with my colleagues and clients that IBM has a product for everything. They probably made a product for a can opener as well. So of course we do have a product for Agentic AI as well, which is called Watsonx Orchestrate. Like that's why the orchestrator agent is in blue, right? So the idea is that we are abstracting the complexity of consumers using or orchestrating agents. So let's assume that I enter, like again, employee of IBM. I work in sales. I have to take vacation days off, and I have to create leads and post somewhere too. Like that's day in a life of a salesperson at IBM, right? So I have an interface. With that interface, all I have to do is ask questions, and the orchestrator agent will figure out, you can see, it will figure out what the intent of my question is. And it will also figure out what are the tools and the agents that are necessary for it to call so the task can be performed automatically. But like this is all fun. Like it's a playground. You can go to LandGraph, you can go to other tool sets and build an agent like that. But when it comes to enterprises, the issues are even bigger, because what about the data? Like where's the data stored? How do you use vector databases to embed the knowledge that you have? In terms of governance, like what if the LLM hallucinates? What if you're giving the wrong information to your end clients? And what are the risks associated with it if, let's say, the model hallucinates? You don't want to be in the news for all the wrong reasons, right? And lastly, process design, because the enterprises we work with, they have processes in place right now. They have workflows in place right now. So how do you bring in the existing investment that they have made, govern the AI that you're building, and scale it efficiently, where like you basically take it from playground to an application that is enterprise grade. So the one tiny difference, not tiny, huge difference in experience is AI assistance. So how many people have pulled their hair out because you're just like, give me the right answer, right? Like you're talking to a chatbot, and to everything that you ask, it will say, I don't know the question. Has anyone experienced that before? How did you feel? Great, right? So in this case, like if you look at the left-hand side, the assistant, where like you're just asking or giving information line by line, it's time-consuming. But with agents, if there's a HR manager who wants to transfer one person from one department to another, all of that can be done with orchestration, because it identifies different intents in the question or the query that is being asked. And it can then perform actions for you automatically. Of course, after testing, everything worked fine in the development process. So in short, when it comes to deploying enterprise-grade applications which are using agentic AI, optimization is very important, because you want to use the agents or AI or applications which are cost-effective and easier to manage and deploy into infrastructure. Administration, governance, and security, where you want to make sure that the right people have access to the agents and the tools. So you can make sure that the wrong actors don't get access to it. Governance, you need to be compliant with the regulations. You need to be compliant with the internal and external policies within the organization. And security, of course, like as a consumer, I don't want my information to be leaked, breached, or manipulated. So like at the enterprise level, if you're deploying an application, these are the factors that should be looked into. And in terms of agentic innovation, there are like multiple pillars to it, right? So first is in terms of how do you orchestrate these tools and agents together? What is like multi-agent orchestration? How do you do how do the agents route that information to other agents to build an application that incorporates multi-agent orchestration? So, and I would like to say that multi-agent orchestration is not how AI scales, but essentially how you organize the information. So it's like if I like to give the example of my drawer, like sock drawer. Sometimes I've gotten late because like I play pickleball. So sometimes I've gotten late to the practice because I couldn't find one pair of socks that looked alike, right? Like it's just not organized. So like I have a lot of socks, but it just looks weird. So you need to have an organized way of dealing with the tools, agents, so you can scale efficiently. So what it means is that, okay, again, the same user experience, you have an orchestration layer in the middle, and with this orchestration agent layer, because it's all organized, it knows what are the sales agents, what are the other agents and assistants available to the orchestrator. It has organized all of that information. So based on the query, based on the organized set of services and tools that are available, this orchestrator agent will be able to route the task to different agents and get the work done more efficiently. And again, it doesn't matter where your applications are running, whether they're on cloud, on premises, or what vendors are you already engaging with. So the idea is like open, where you can bring in all kinds of agents, existing investment that you have made onto the platform, and still work with those investments that you have made. So this is just one small demo where like you can see that I'm like a salesperson, and in terms of when I'm like researching or doing some work, I need to work with research agent, where like given I'm like a client, what is the research that I need to do? So they've built a research agent. You can ask questions to that research agent, which will go crawl data from Google or other search engines and provide you information. But on the other hand side, like if I were to change context or change the conversation, it would know automatically what I'm referring to and call the correct agents to get the work done. Second is the pre-built agents, where I've identified that you can do multi-agent orchestration. You can bring your own agents, you can build your own agents, and you can orchestrate the work and the communication between those agents. But what about the pre-built agents? What it means is that you should have access to the agents, for instance, like different functions, meaning like if it's a CRM system, you should have the capability to talk to that CRM system. If it's, let's say, a Google search or any search engine, you should have the capability to work with that engine. You don't have to write those agents from scratch. So you have a capability or a catalog of pre-built agents within the platform. Within IBM, like we have been using this technology significantly, and we have brought these pre-built agents on the platform as well. For instance, like there's Ask HR or HR application or a domain agent for HR. So organizations or clients who have the HR line of business, and every organization does, they can onboard these agents and start working to, let's say, improve the productivity in the HR department. Similarly, for procurement and sales teams, where you have connectivity to the likes and the platforms like Salesforce and other platforms, out-of-the-box connectivity. And internally, what we have seen is that we have seen tremendous amount of productivity gains. And you can see, I can barely see, but I can say that like the number of hours saved by the HR people, the number of hours saved by the salespeople, and so on. And here, like just a short little demo where I show like if I am wearing a hat of a HR person, one thing that they have to do is that they have to onboard new employees, or there's talent management, and given a resume, how would you extract the information from it automatically using agents? How would you say that given the job description, this employee application that has come about is perfect for that or not? So essentially, all the sub-functions and functions of the HR domain can be captured and automated through a pre-built agent like HR agent in Watsonx Orchestrate. And of course, you can build your own agents as well, where we have significant work done in terms of creating SDKs and ADKs. Or you can onboard agents from Copilot, ServiceNow, and other functions where the agents are being used. So when it comes to building your own agent, it means that an agent has an information around what are you building the agent for. So for instance, you have like a documentation or a PDF file or HTML files that you want to onboard. The agent will know what that knowledge means to them. Tasks, where basically you provide the skill set to the agents to perform certain tasks. Like let's say if it's an HR agent, then you would have tools to run applications or trigger pipelines for employee onboarding and so on. And behavior is where you actually identify or tell the agent how the different agents will work together. So one example that I like to give is that back in the day when there was no automation and my laptop would go bad, or like I needed a replacement. So that was the best day of my life, like because your laptop would be shipped. It will take 2-3 days. It's basically 2-3 days of paid work leave. So you'll just call your colleagues, say, "What's up?" They'll be working. I'll be like, "Oh, I'm just chilling. I'm just going for a run. I'm just walking around," because it will take that long for my laptop to be replaced. But now, thanks to AI, I guess, where things have changed, where all I have to do is I have to go to the application that is built by IBM, chat with the HR agent. It will figure out the information based on my title, what laptops am I eligible for. It will ask me what is my home address, what is my work address, and where do I want the laptop to be delivered to. And all of that will be done in 5 to 10 minutes. And as soon as I'll get the laptop, everything will be pre-configured on my laptop. So AI is good. The idea is that not everyone who wants to build agent have to be coders, right? So it provides no-code, low-code options where just with the UI, you can bring in the information like upload PDF files or connect to your vector databases, right? And then in natural language, you can provide information around what tools you want to onboard. That's a skill that you're giving to your agents, and define the behavior all in natural language. But it's easier said than done, because I've been tinkering with technology, and it's so hard. Like you have to come up with the proper prompts. You have to tell specifically what the agents want to do, because I think last week I was almost pulling out my hair. But like, how can you not understand what I'm saying? So this is still evolving process. Like even with clear instructions, it will not give you the results that you desire. Agent operations. So like the first 3 are the orchestration for tools and agents, pre-built AI agents, build your own agents. That's great, but that's like anyone can do with the open source technology out there. What about monitoring what is happening behind the screen or behind the agents or the orchestrator? What if the agents, it's just at the end of the day, large language models, right? Like your reasoning, what if the reasoning is incorrect? So you want to, from a security perspective, from the operations perspective, you want to know what is happening behind the scenes. So that is where you need observability. You want to see the tracing of how agents are talking with each other. You also need to make sure that this entire AI innovation around agentic AI is governed before you onboard the application at the enterprise setting. So we, of course, as I said, like we have tools for everything. So we have tools around AgentOps trace as well, where you can actually monitor what is happening behind the scenes, where like agents are communicating with each other. You can see who triggered those applications, or where did the message come from, how are the agents talking to each other. So all of that information can be captured, audited, and logged for sanity checks, like whether your agents are performing well or not. And this particular innovation, the area of innovation around AI governance is very close to me, and I'll like maybe set an example here. So I grew up in Pakistan. Anyone from Pakistan here? Okay, there's one there. South Asia. So I grew up there, very friendly people, especially on the road. Okay, so you will be driving, and back in the day, there was no Google Maps, and 3G, 4G was a thing. Dial-up, we were working on dial-up. So like in the car, there was no way there we could have phones with Google Maps in it, right? So, and the infrastructure there it's not as good as Canada, where like there's streets everywhere, so you don't know how to go from point A to point B unless you knew the area well. So oftentimes I would see my dad stopping and asking random strangers on the road for directions. So they're like, how do I go from point A to point B? And that person, very helpful. Go take a right, take a left, take a right. My dad would do that. And the next thing we would know is that we are at the same point where we started, right? Think of it like in the agentic realm, it's even more complicated because like you're driving. So as my dad would be a agent there, right? He reasons that he's not at this particular location, he may be lost. So he basically calls a tool, which would be a stranger on the road, and asks them for direction. Okay, they hallucinated, right? So that is the risks in generative AI. But for agents, it's even more amplified because it's like agent-to-agent communication, right? So let's say I came across this person, my dad came across the person, and then he followed the direction, went somewhere else, asked another tool to give the direction. And if, like for today, if let's say I was doing that, for all I know, I would be in a random trail in Hamilton, right? In the attire which is not appropriate for trekking at all, right? So, but at the enterprise setting, this could be, the consequences can be very dire because the agent can hallucinate, which means that you can get into the news. If you get into the news for the wrong reasons, then it's the reputational risk, the revenue loss, and so many other reasons. So organizations who are onboarding agents at the enterprise setting need to be very careful. So governance is not an afterthought. It should be planned for when you are putting applications in deployment. So when it comes to agentic AI, there has to be means to govern the applications, where from the developer standpoint, you should be doing experimentation tracking, where like how many models, or how are the models performing, which reasoning model to look into, what are the metrics and monitoring alerts, where like let's say if you put the application into production, if they are violated, you should be notified right away. Traceability, which I already talked about, and the cataloging of agentic AI applications, because like if the scientists and the ModelOps engineers and the agentic engineers want to use similar agents for similar applications, how do they go about it and do the cost, performance trade-off, accuracy trade-off analysis? And IBM, we cook our own meals and we eat it too because they're scrumptious. So we have onboarded and used this technology, Watsonx, Orchestrate, for different domains and functions, and we have seen tremendous gains in terms of productivity. And we can share more because we are here all day and tomorrow. So if you have any questions, just reach out to us for that. We also provide boot camps. So like if you have a use case in mind and you want to co-create and work with us, we can help you realize that use case in practice. So just one thing visit us at our booth. It's just right outside Auditorium B. Give us the opportunity to learn from you and learn from us. And one last thing that I want to do say is that the joke is on that kid, because today I'm in the room full of people, like the coolest and the smartest people in town. So thank you for coming here. Yeah. Thank you all.
Hi, thank you so much for the great talk. I'm Razi. I'm curious to know, how did you handle hallucination? What is the smartest strategy that you use? And also, I'm curious to know, what is your vision for next 3 or 5 years? 2025 is agent year, but how about 2030? Which kind of open problems would be solved?
Thank you. Thank you for asking that question. Brilliant question. To address your first ask, in terms of hallucination, we look at factors like faithfulness, answer relevancy, and the context relevancy as well. And there's significant work that is being done, like in the open source community and IBM research, to figure out if the model is hallucinating. But of course, it's with amplified or the evolution in this technology, these risks are evolving as well, and we, like the hallucinations, how we are monitoring it is evolving as well through metrics, and we can provide more information on this, but that's just the gist of it. And regarding your second question, I asked AI, and AI couldn't give me an answer too, but yeah. So 2 years ago, Gen AI, like LLMs, was the biggest thing, right? But now Agentic AI came out all of a sudden. So to be very honest, it will be more around how these applications are, or rather, this technology is embedded in the applications. So those applications will become more intelligent. But to answer your question, I don't know, and I guess I hope I live till 2030 to see where things are. But like, they're here.
We have time for one more question, and then the next speaker. My mistake. I said lunch, but next speaker.
Good afternoon. I'm Mohammed Tambi from India. I'm asking this question as a user. We are a marketing company giving quotations, hundreds of quotations every week for equipments. So you're having an inbuilt AI. Is it possible to integrate with my Gmail to give analysis and a predictability of my customers' conversion into orders, or coming to and closing out a deal?
I would love to, thank you for asking that question. I would love to say yes, but every client, every project that we work on, it has intricacies. So that is why the boot camp that I showed earlier. So like, we have a team of incredible engineers who can work with you, sit with you, understand your problem, figure out the nuances, and see how using this tool we can bring value and provide a solution.